There has always been a debate as to where the top distance runners originate. In the early days of the modern Olympics, it was the Brits who dominated, and by the time World War I ended, it was the Flying Finns in the spotlight. The United States, Australia, and New Zealand had their share of international superstars in the mid 20th century, and the Soviet Union and Eastern Bloc began to dominate during the Cold War era. But one region of the world was notably absent from the conversation prior to the 1960s: East Africa. These days, it is nearly impossible to imagine distance running without the dominance of athletes from nations such as Kenya and Ethiopia, but just 60 years ago, these runners were not on anyone's radar. And then one man came onto the international stage at the 1968 and 1972 Olympics, winning 4 Olympic medals in the process and acting as the catalyst for East African distance running. Today is Thursday, September 4th, 2025, and on this day in 1972, Kenyan superstar Kipchoge Keino won Olympic gold in the men's 3,000-meter steeplechase, setting a new Olympic record in the process. In this very special pod-ception episode, I am joined by Tommy McClellan, host of the Laugh and Run podcast, and together we break down Keino's background, Olympic performances, and lasting legacy. I'm your host, Running Up That Hillary, and you are listening to Today in Running History. All right, welcome to a very special Podception episode of Today in Running History. Today I have Tommy McClellan from the Laugh and Run podcast. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Tell us about your podcast.
Yeah, so Laugh and Run podcast really started kind of combined. I started running and doing stand-up comedy when I was 12, and I have pursued both. I professional stand-up comedian and long lifetime runner. I work in the running industry as well, and I really love both. And so the pod is just a way to sort of bridge the gap between the two and try to, you know, running's awesome and it's a not niche by any means, but there's a lot of people that still are like when it comes to running. And so I think this is a way to sort of bridge the gap and try to get those people that find it intimidating to find it less intimidating. And yeah, we talked to really cool people like yourself. You were on the other week. Thanks for doing that. And talked to, run specialty professionals, people that, own some of the biggest running stores in the country. I talked to major running groups in the country as well. Just did a downtown run group in San
San
Antonio.
Antonio, yeah.
Yep, they're great. And yeah, it's a good time. So it's a lot of fun. And then I go on the road and do a live Laugh and Run show. I partner with a run group. We do a free all paces welcome group run. And then my headlining act. And I've been doing that all over the country this year. It's been fun.
Very cool. How do you get into that, especially at 12? Like I was running at 12, but I certainly was not on any stages in front of people. Like that's like such an age where it's like
Mental illness is a good part of it. Having a strange childhood also helps. No, I really loved comedy, and I grew up in upstate New York in the middle of nowhere. Like there were more cows than people. And so it wasn't like it wasn't like a bustling metropolis filled with comedy clubs.
yeah.
But I started writing. I heard Jerry Seinfeld say he wrote every day. So this panicked 12-year-old going through puberty, just trying to write crummy jokes. And I would go up and do them at talent shows. I would gather my friends around and do it there. And then I moved to New York City when I was 18 and then really started doing like the club circuit, doing it professionally while I was running in college. And I guess also studying in college, but not really. And yeah, so.
Very cool. And I can imagine that I mean, running is such a ridiculous thing in the first place. Like it has so much, I guess, material that it gives you. So I can't imagine you are ever really trying to scrape bottom of the barrel with that. Just being out either at a race or anything. I'm guessing that gives you some pretty organic material.
Oh yeah, a lot to make fun of. Like I made a US team in a sport called Winter Triathlon last year, where it's
Oh,
run bike cross country ski. And it also sounds like it's pretty easy to qualify when most of your competition are senior citizens, right? Like, and like I was standing on the line next to one, and I was like, if
Yeah,
you pass me, I'm gonna break your hip. Like that's just sorry, just kidding. I would never.
not
And
on
also
purpose.
like not on purpose, sure. Um, Also like no disrespect to senior citizen community, like this is true. So to qualify for the US team, you had to race well at nationals. Nationals was in Colorado, 2 miles above sea level. I currently live next to a place called National Harbor. So was not acclimated, got there during the race about a mile in. I stopped to catch my breath. And as I did, an 80-year-old woman ran by me and she was like, toughen up, you wimp. And I was like, huh, get back here so I can break your hip. And
That's hilarious.
you asked me not to curse, so off the top of
Yeah,
my
no,
head,
I
I
appreciate
changed.
it. I know,
I ch-
I like it.
wimp is not the punchline when I'm
Oh,
on
I'm sure.
stage.
I'm sure. I appreciate it. I play my podcast in the car for my kids. So
Yeah,
that's
no,
my
I want them to be able to listen, so
yeah,
all good.
very
Um,
cool.
yeah,
Honestly, and I work out at the JCC. So it's a lot of old people and some of them can really move. I mean, like if I was if I was I can outrun them. Like if I'm on the treadmill next to somebody who's like 90, like I can typically hold a better pace. But you get in the pool, like there are some old people who can really swim. They're just like right
yeah,
through. It's crazy.
I,
So
for sure. I so grew up running, like I said, and when I wasn't in doing like cross country, track and field, I would go do like local road races. And when
yeah.
I was young, like just starting off, I wasn't good, and then I got better. But I remember like, you'd be having a bad race, and then this like 90-year-old would shuffle by you, and you're like, good God, like I got to get it together. But
Yeah.
also, I hope I'm that cool. Like that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, absolutely. Look, if I'm still running in 50 years when I am 83 years old, like at any pace, at any distance, like that will be a win
Yeah.
for sure.
For sure. I want to call that guy back and be like, I thought running was supposed to destroy your knees. Like, you
Yeah.
shouldn't be passing me right now.
Yeah. No, it's
Uh,
great.
yeah.
All right.
All right. Well,
So,
thanks for having me.
yeah, for
No, just
sure.
kidding.
All right,
Go.
let's talk about we're going to talk about Kip Keino, but I want to talk about just Kenyans in distance running first because before I started this podcast, I didn't realize that they had not always dominated because you something you said before we pushed record is you look at a list of who's going to be entered into this race and you see if it's dominated by Kenyans. It's like, okay, well, let's see who's going to be the top American. We're probably not going to get someone on the podium.
Yeah, that's sort of the running joke. And also, like, in the comedy world that doesn't care about running, they're like, oh, the Kenyans, they win. Like, that's sort of in the cultural zeitgeist of like people who don't run, they know Kenyans are fast, and they are. But yeah.
Yeah, and so when I started researching for this podcast and I would see, who was dominating the field at that time and it was not Kenyans. It was a lot of New Zealanders, Americans, all over the place. Brits had a lot. And it really wasn't until Kipchoge Keino came onto the scene that Kenya as a distance running powerhouse really came on the map for anybody. And Kipchoge is this name synonymous with distance running and Kenya these days. But before Eliud Kipchoge, there was Kipchoge Keino. So he didn't just show up at the 1968 Olympics. I know that's something that we're going to talk about, but he did not just show up out of nowhere. He was already on the map at the time. So he grew up running in Kenya. He played rugby. He started running. All of this. His international career. He came onto the scene in Australia when he ran in the Commonwealth Games, or I think it was called like the British Empire Games at the time. Now they're the Commonwealth Games. And then he actually made the team for Kenya for the Tokyo Olympics. And he made it to the finals in the 5,000 and the 10,000. But he did not end up medaling. He came in, I think, fifth in the 5,000 and 10th in the 10,000 or the 1,500, one of them. He was there. He did it. So, started getting on the map. He was not going into the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City. He was not this unknown guy, but he was really like the Kenyan at the time. And then that brings us to 1968. Let's talk a little bit about that because I know that's your big story you want to talk about.
Yeah, so it's one of my favorite running stories. Very famously, this was the Olympics that Kip's quote, "If I die, I'm gonna die on the track" happened. And so what happened, 1968 Mexico City Olympics, they are at altitude. It's very, very high, kind of like I was joking earlier, harder to breathe.
Yeah.
He's tougher than I am for sure.
And luckily there were not a lot of 80-year-olds competing in those games. So luckily he wasn't going to be passed by an 80-year-old woman.
But that should be something we add to the Olympics moving forward, is we just put a bunch of 80-year-olds together and see what happens. So Kip was running the 10K, the 5K, and the 1,500. And the 10K was first. And the dude's leading the race. He's pretty much been trailing the entire time he's leading the group. With 2 laps to go, he doubles over in pain, falls onto the infield. He gets passed, but he's tough. He jumps back up. He finishes the race. He doesn't medal or anything. But then the Olympic committee was like, hey, you left the track, so you're disqualified. You can't be an Olympian, at least not at this race, which right there, I would have been pissed. I would have been, or mad. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a bad word.
At least he didn't medal. I mean, that would be kind of a consolation. At least it's like, okay,
right,
disqualified, yeah, but at least I'm not forfeiting any awards.
Right, exactly. It's like, and he still had 2 more to go.
Yeah.
So the reason he doubled over in pain is he started having abdominal pain. He was having stomach pain. He was feeling really, really bad. But again, he's tough as nails, and he knows he's got 2 more races down the line. So I don't think he was super beat up about the 10K. He's like, okay, 4 days later, he has the 5K now. And he's still having stomach pain. He's still having abdominal pain. But the dude goes out and he gets 2nd place, got silver. I mean, that's the first time he's medaled in the Olympics, I think. So yes. It's huge deal for most people. They'd be like, all right, I'm done. Cool. My career, that's good enough for my career, right? But he still got the 1,500. And this is where the story really picks up. So 3 days later, it's the morning of the 1,500. 3 days after the 5K, the morning of the race, he's still in bed. He's in pain, like really bad, excruciating pain. And luckily, there's a doctor on staff. So the doctor walks by and the doctor's like, oh, like the abdominal pain, stomach pain, like your gallbladder might be like kaputzing out. It could be failing. You cannot run. And Kip's like, yeah, it's a short race. I'll be all right. And he's like, no, like, what are you doing? Like, you'll die. And he's like, look, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die on the track. And is insane because, like, I'm married. And if I said that, my wife would be like, we have a car payment. Like, what are you talking? Like, no. if you die, you're going to die and leave me life insurance. But not right now.
Yeah.
I want to make sure the car's paid off first.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to get through the next couple of years.
Yeah. And so the doctor's like, look, you're a grown man, do whatever. But I'm not advising you to run. Don't run. Doctor leaves. The minute he leaves, Kip gets up, gets dressed. He leaves for the race. What is so funny to me personally is that he had to take the bus to the race. The bus got stuck in traffic. So he had to jog 2K to get to the stadium to run, which, like, at that point, like, if you have belief, that's sort of like God being like, don't run this race. Yeah. Like, it's not going to go good for you, dude.
Yeah.
And again, just tough as nails. If I die, I'm going to die on the track. I'm running 2K to the stadium. I guess maybe that was his warm up.
Yeah. I mean, that's
exactly. And so now the 1500, he gets there, he's on the line. The race is at altitude, right? Don't forget that. And the thing with altitude is if you're running, you can run slower and farther and like maybe get through it. But if you're already sick and you've already run two races and now you're running this fast race at altitude, which means you're going to go into oxygen depth much quicker. It's insanely hard.
And your organs are failing.
And your organs are failing. Yes. And your wife is thinking about leaving you because you have a car payment. And what's amazing is Kip basically led the whole time. He split the 800 in 155, which was record pace at that time at that course. And during the race, when he split that, the announcer came on and literally said, they're running at a suicide pace, which I feel like Kip was like, you have no idea if he heard that. And so the only other favorite in that race was Jim Ryan,
Yep.
the American Jim Ryan,
Yep.
super famous runner. Jim was kind of one of the ones to allegedly win. Jim was being a little bit more conservative. He thought for sure Kip was going to die off just based on pace alone, not knowing what he was going through.
Yeah.
And Kip was probably like, I might just die, like not die off. This is it for me.
Yeah.
But he didn't let up. And he not only won the race, but he set a new Olympic record by almost 3 seconds in 3:34 for the 1500. And the best part about the whole thing is allegedly after Kip won, he was just incredibly gracious to everybody he beat. He wasn't like, get me an ambulance. He didn't say any of that. He was just very kind and awesome. And so I really love this story because it's a mixture of the grit and the beauty of running mixed with the sportsmanship of like how you should behave, especially as a champion. So
for sure. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Like I have been sick and running before. So my first marathon, and I didn't knowingly do this, but I had COVID during my first marathon. I tested positive about 6 hours after finishing, and I have never in my life been in worse shape than the final few miles of that race. I mean, and like this was like 14-minute miles. This was like I literally the footage of me finishing this race. Luckily nobody actually filmed me when I was in labor with my kids, but I was in worse shape at the finish of that marathon than I was like literally giving birth to children. Like this was like I have never been closer to death. Like running sick at all, like to get to that finish line just about killed me. You know, I finished in well over 5 hours. Like it was a slow marathon. I felt terrible. And this was like survival. I cannot imagine running while feeling like that and setting an Olympic record, winning a gold medal. Like it just blows my mind. It's kind of insane.
yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And the coolest part about it now is like, so this was the 68 Olympics, but Kip is still alive. He's around.
Yes, he did not die.
He didn't die. Yeah. I guess maybe we should have led with that. He's still alive.
He didn't die then. He didn't die later. He's still here. So
he's listening to this going like, this child is setting me up to be dead. I'm still alive.
Yeah.
What's really awesome is he lives on a 196-acre farm in Kenya with his wife Phyllis, and they run a charitable foundation that provides shelter and support for orphaned and abandoned children. So like the most human, wonderful, kind, sweet thing you could do. So he's just the coolest person ever.
Yeah, he has done so much more. And actually, we can also talk about his second Olympics because that is exactly when was 1972? That is exactly 53 years ago today. Was when he won his second gold medal at the Olympics. So he returned to represent Team Kenya in 1972. This one was in Munich, in Germany. And he won another silver This time in the 1500, he got the silver. And then, funny enough, you mentioned Jim Ryan. So exactly 53 years ago today, he and Jim Ryan lined up once again. And they did the 3,000-meter steeplechase. At the time, Jim Ryan also owned the world record for the 3,000 steeplechase.
Oh.
So going in, he was the favorite. You know, Kip was not an underdog by any means, but he did not hold the world record. And so he ended up getting his second gold medal. Um,
Oh, really? Wow. I didn't know
yeah,
that. That's
yeah,
awesome. That so him and Jim Ryan had like a friendly rivalry for basically
yeah,
all their careers then. That's awesome. That's really that was sort of like the when I was in high school, it was sort of like Galen Rupp,
oh yeah,
and Mo, and sounds
yeah,
kind of like,
yeah,
yeah. So that's really cool. That's super interesting. That's awesome.
yeah. Yeah, so he ended up winning his second gold medal, second Olympic gold medal, and then at that same Olympics he won his second Olympic silver. And so by the time he retired, four-time Olympic medalist in addition to many, many records and everything there. And then his time with the Olympics was not over. He ended up doing a lot with the National Olympic Committee for Kenya. So in addition to all of
Oh,
the charitable work that he and his wife have done in the past, what, 50 years, a long time. I don't know when they opened everything. I think the orphanage was sometime about maybe 25 years ago or so. But in the midst of all that, he also was involved with the Kenyan Olympic Committee. And so all of the Kenyan Olympians, like Kipchoge and Faith Kipyegon, and all of the people that are on our radar today, so much of that started with Keino in
oh,
the
wow.
60s and 70s. So yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, that's
yeah.
super rad. It's really beautiful when somebody succeeds in a sport and is an example in that way, but then continues to go on and still has involvement and dedication in it. It's one of the best things. That's like Mab Keflezi is still
Oh
super
yeah.
active, and
Yeah.
it's awesome because he could have just retired and been like, I'm gonna go sell deodorant now. And
Yeah,
instead
for sure.
he's like in it.
Giving back and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's great. Like and he Kip Keino actually at the 2016 Olympics. So he was the very first recipient of the Olympic laurel. So it was it's like a lifetime achievement of contributions to the Olympics.
Oh.
And this was like a brand new award. I'm not sure who all has gotten it since then, but he was the very first. And this was only 9 years ago. So, there's probably been what, two more? Because there's been two more Olympics since then. But this is like a huge deal. This is like somebody who, he competed, he turned around and was president of the Olympic Committee for his country and just has been a pioneer for Kenyan distance running, like, the grandfather of Kenyan distance running. And like you mentioned, he is still alive. He is 85 years old today. And he and his wife run their philanthropy, still living his best life. And yeah. And I guess they named an asteroid after him too. So, he's really made it.
That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think him and his gallbladder are still together.
Are
So I
they?
think
Okay. Yeah.
I
What
don't
that
know.
was I yeah. I haven't really read much about like the medical after the
I know.
68 Olympics, like what happened there. Like, he made it on the podium. He got his gold medal, he got his silver medal. Like he obviously, like, but then did they take him to the hospital?
Yeah.
Did he just, did
That that's what I want to know about. And I try to look it up. It's all about the running and the accolades and the wonderful things he does in the
yeah.
world. But I want to
Yeah.
know about his medical history.
Yeah, yeah,
Is he still with his gallbladder?
yeah,
Did he have his appendix removed? These are the
yeah.
things I want
Which
to know.
organs does he still have to this day, and
Right.
which were left in Mexico?
And yes, and are there any artificial ones? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I will look that up. That is something that I will add when I do the intro to this, or the outro to this episode.
All
I
right.
will see what I can find. I will dig really deep into the archives of the internet and see what we can find medically.
Well,
In
well,
addition to all the great things he's done, let's see how he has survived this. His if he has like bionic organs or what's going on there.
well, that's awesome. Please let me know because it's the thing that keeps me up at night.
Awesome. Well, I will do that. Well, Tommy, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on for this very special Podception episode. Where can people follow you and your podcast?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram, Tommy Laugh Run. Laugh and Run podcast is on YouTube page. We also do other things as well. I have some stand-up stuff there, working on a couple cool documentaries currently. So like comedic in the running world. So it'll be fun. Also on Spotify, Apple Pods. But yeah, honestly, just follow me on Instagram and you'll see everything I'm doing. So
Perfect.
thanks so much. And thank
Yeah,
you.
I will go ahead and put that into the episode description so that people don't have to go and look for anything. But
Awesome.
so it'll all be there. And then final question, what are you training for? What's coming up next?
Well, I don't quite know. I'd like to do a 100 miler next year, but the thing on the calendar most obvious is Marine Corps Marathon. So
Yeah.
it is the 50th anniversary. It is, I was talking to the director a week or two ago, and he's saying by like attendance numbers, it's like going to be the third biggest marathon in the country this year because so many people are running it. They
Yeah.
they're not doing the 50K and I think the 10K to drive more people to the marathon. So
Okay.
I'm just hyped for that to be out there and then I'm gonna cheer my wife on at her first marathon in Philly. So that'll be
Oh,
fun too.
cool.
I'm honestly more excited for that because I don't have to be in pain. I just get to
Yeah.
watch her be in pain
Yeah.
and be like, "You got this,
You can
honey."
do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well, very cool.
as I'm drinking a large latte, like,
Yeah.
"You got this. Don't let them stop your dreams, baby." Oh,
Oh, that's great.
I'm drinking tequila at 11 in the morning, just like you trained hard for this.
It's a marathon, that rules don't apply. Like rules are out the window when it comes to distance running.
Exactly. You got to cut the course. You got to cut the course. It's like, goddamn, you broke 2 hours, honey. I didn't think you had it in you. All right, sorry, I'm going on a tangent.
No, that's fine. All right. Well, thank you
Don't
so
cheat.
much. Can't wait to see what you do at Marine Corps, and super excited for your wife for her first one in Philly.
Yeah, well, thanks, Hillary. All the love, buddy, and you're doing awesome stuff. And thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you. What a great conversation, and I am just in awe over everything Keino has done in his 85 years so far. That is the show for today. Thank you for listening, and thank you to Tommy for joining as my co-host. I will put a link to his podcast, Laugh and Run, in the episode description. Join me tomorrow as we discuss the huge doping scandal that not only resulted in athletes being banned from competition, but also resulted in prison time. I'm your host, Running Up That Hillary, and this has been Today in Running History. For East African, not just African. Okay. In this very special... No, okay. And then we're just gonna go straight into the interview. Like, I don't need to do any more talking. We do plenty of that, so just hop in on that, and then I'll just end it here. Okay. I will put a link to his podcast. Can't even say the word podcast. Okay. I'm just gonna do this whole outro thing again, so we don't have to splice that.